What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Not a Sheep podcast. My name's Matt. I'm here with my guy, John and Narwhal.
What's up, guys?
And today we're joined by MIXEDBYAC. What's up, bro?
What's good? What's good? What's good?
Yo, thank you so much for coming on. We're excited to have you because we not only have talked about a lot of the artists that you've worked with quite a bit on our show over the last few months, but you're our first like real engineer that's kind of your specialty that's on the show. So it'll be cool to kind of talk to you just about what you do and your process and everything.
For sure. Yeah.
So first of all, like, how did you get into first of all, what do you do? And like, how did you get into, audio mixing and engineering and everything?
From the start?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I do full time right now, I'm a mixing engineer. That's my full-time job. So I tend to get a certain amount of work a month from different artists, people on labels, independent artists. And that's like my full-time gig. I've been doing that for a year and a half full-time, which is kind of weird, but it's like I'm still trying to get used to it because it's a lot different from like a 9 to 5. It's a different lifestyle. But yeah, I'm still getting used to that part. But how everything started, so I'm 24. I just turned 24 back in January. Everything started when I was like 16 years old. I had a buddy of mine that he had just came over and we actually started doing like music videos. And I was recording a video for him, but he was like, bro, we have to record a song. So I borrowed my brother's computer to record on GarageBand. But we didn't have a mic, so we used a Rock Band mic. So it was USB, so we were able to use it. So when we did that and we were recording and stuff like that, it just became like fun. So like eventually I was like, hey, like how could we up this up a little bit? Because he knew a little more than me, obviously. He was like, yo, we just need an interface. We need a mic. And I was like, how much is that going to cost? And he was just like, it should only cost like $200, $300. And he was telling me like some low end stuff. So like some just basic level. So what I did, I was a huge gamer back then. I'm not as much anymore, but I was like addicted to gaming.
What games? What games were you grinding back then?
Bro, I was playing like Halo. I was playing Call of Duty. Like that was just like the peak of everything. Yeah, I mean that's like Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops.
Bro, I had so many days on MW2.
Yeah,
and like Halo Reach.
Yo, I literally stayed up like late playing and then wake up early to play. Like that was like my whole life, like that and playing sports. And so like I was addicted at that. So like I was like, man, I really want to buy some. So bro, I sold my Xbox. I sold my Xbox for $200. And then I sold my TV or something like that. Like it was like a TV or something. I don't know. I just had enough money to go buy that equipment and started using my brother's computer. And from there is like where I really fell in love with it because I was recording all my homies that I grew up with. And from there, it was just like little by little fall in love with it. And then by the time like junior year, I was like, yo, I need to go. I was like, I should go to school for this. Like, I should try to pursue this. And so I actually went to school. I went to school in Florida, Orlando, Florida. I went to Full Sail University.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't go that long because of a fallout with like financial like situations.
Yeah.
So I ended up staying in Florida for a while. And right after I had left the school, I had got a job offer to work at a recording studio. And so I worked there for 2 years, 2.5 years-ish. And I gained so much experience, so much like real industry, just working with good people, bad people, big names, small names, like thousands of artists, stuff like that. But yeah, and so sometime later I had moved back to Houston because I'm originally born and raised in Houston.
Yeah.
And so I moved back here, and ever since then I've been trying to like, I don't know, I moved back, but I got a job just to do something because it wasn't as like busy as it is.
Yeah.
Like I would get like.
You mean like you weren't able to make it into your career yet?
Yeah.
At the time.
So like when I left that job in Florida, I had a year off from it. So I had worked like a regular 9 to 5 in Florida, and I was trying to focus on like working with serious artists instead of just working with anybody.
Yeah.
Because I feel like no one was taking me seriously because I wasn't working with like serious artists. It was just like only people that are like, hey, bro, I just need something done. So how much do you charge? 75 or oh, that's cool. Yeah, let's do that. You know what I mean? It's like little bread. But
Yeah,
you
it
have
wasn't
to,
like a real relationship that could like build into something.
yeah, and there's a lot of people that I've worked with ever since then that probably don't do music like that, don't profit from music or anything, which is crazy. But yeah, so I took that time off, and when I came to Texas, I moved back with my parents for like a year and a half, and so when that happened, I just took some time off, like trying to figure out something. Got a little part-time job here at a music store. Was only there for like 5, 6 months. And then I got a call about DJing for Aaron Cole. And so I don't know if y'all know Aaron Cole, but
Yeah.
so him and I, we went on tour last year in 2020, the beginning of 2020. So that's when I was started
Right before
DJing.
COVID?
Yeah.
Damn,
So
bro, that sucks.
Yeah, so we were in the middle of COVID,
Jeez.
like when it just started, when we
Yeah.
were still on tour. And so yeah, so when we did that, and it was wild. But I think everything since then, around that, like towards the end of fall 2019, it's just like been going up. And it's
Yeah.
just, I've been just watching everything place itself and stuff like that. And that's basically how I got here. Just
Yeah.
building relationships and getting to where I am now.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Did you feel like you like grew the most and like learned the most from just the actual like in studio experience working with artists, or do you feel like you learned a lot of what you know from going to school for mixing?
Man, to be honest, it's only probably a few things I learned in school. Like going into school, I already knew. Like I'm the type of guy that if I do something, I'm gonna research stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm not the type of guy that's like, I'm just gonna go because I kind of want to learn. It's kind of like I want to go and I want to kind of already be familiar with things. And so when I went there was just like a few things that were very key, but like small things that kind of made me better as an engineer. Just understanding like compressors and understanding like gates and like a bunch of other stuff, like fancy words and whatnot.
Yeah.
So just figuring that out and stuff like that. Because when you go to a school like that, they don't teach you how to mix. It's kind of like they just teach you your tools and what the tools do. And it's like at the end of the day, you have to, you know what I'm saying? You have to do whatever. It's like, imagine going to art school. Like art schools are different, but imagine it being as like vague as like, hey, this is the color red, this is the color blue, this is, you know what I mean? This is a paintbrush, this
Yeah.
brush outlines and this does that. But that doesn't make you a fire, like, you know what I'm saying? Like painter,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
you have to put the practice in. One of the things I did when I was in college though, I try to gain experience while being in college. So like try to connect and network with people. I didn't try to just go to college and just see if I could get a job from it. I think that's like a big mistake that people do. They go to college. But
Well, I feel, oh,
what
sorry,
happened?
I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just gonna say, I feel like a lot of people, they like go to college and then they just spend like the 4 years kind of like, like you can have a good time, but I feel like a lot of people
Yeah.
just kind of fuck around for 4 years and then
Yeah.
just bank on like the degree getting a job. But it's like if you actively spend those 4 years like reaching out to people and like emailing companies or like artists. I mean, I don't like, I'm not a producer or whatever, but like even when I was in college, I did basically the same thing for like video stuff.
Yeah.
And I emailed like, there was a month where I emailed like 10 people a week and like nobody responded. And then eventually one person responded that led to like a bunch of different opportunities. So like, no, I feel you. I feel like that's a really important thing is just actively like going out of your way to like
not just expecting things to happen.
Yeah, just building that relationship. Just like at the end of the day, like I learned years ago that relationships take you a long way. Ever since then, it's just been very, very helpful in everything I've done. Which is kind of wild because I don't promote my service or anything like that. I don't advertise it. It's kind of like it just comes. Like that's just the weird thing. But that's just by word of mouth and people just connecting people and people that just need things done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But man, to answer your question, if I learned, I learned a little bit in school, but I just think learning from people like mentors, stuff like that, you have the right people and just you gotta train your ear.
Yeah.
So that's like the main thing. I think everyone wants to be an engineer, but or not everyone, but people want to be an engineer, but they don't understand that you have to do more than just recording your boy or mixing your boy. You have to kind of, because if you only know how to mix one vocal, what happens if you get somebody that's very bass heavy, someone that's high in tone? Like, what do? Like, it's not gonna come out as good as you think because you don't have so much practice. And
Yeah.
so I think a lot of people, especially engineers, they probably early on they want to charge people so much. Like going in early. When I was starting out in high school, I charged people like $10 a song. Like, and they'll go there and record 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? But for me, it's like I'm building experience. Learning from this. I'm able to work on vocals, free songs. You know what I'm saying? I took advantage of that to get to where I am now. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's the same with a lot of producers and artists is they're very quick to like, they've been making beats for 3 months and they're like already trying to sell everything for a certain price. But it's like, I feel like you're just going to gain so much more experience and grow more working with people. And same
Yeah.
if you're an artist, like if you've only been like, I don't know, putting songs out for like a year and don't have like a following, you probably
Yeah.
shouldn't be like charging other artists for a verse. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
eventually, like you got to get your money, but like I think it's most important, like you said, to get your time in and grow and build relationships.
And usually like people tend to do that because they gain some type of pride, which is cool. Is you can have pride for your work. But I just think at the end of the day, you just got to know what's gonna benefit you in the long haul, not something that's just gonna benefit you financially for like a couple weeks. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. What for you, what about, you know, being a like audio engineer and mixing engineer, what about that like do you love? Because a lot of the artists we've had on or a lot of the people we've had on are artists. And like it's interesting to hear their perspective and a lot of their stories of why they love, you know, singing or like producing or whatever are similar. And I was just curious from your perspective, like what about what you do? Like why did you
Keeps
fall
you
in love with it in the
passionate,
first
yeah.
place?
Man, I fell in love with it. First and foremost, I was an artist before, and no one's ever gonna find the music. I promise you that. I was an artist before, so I did all my stuff and obviously all my homie stuff. But I just kind of stepped back and just realized like this is something I love because I love helping people. I love helping people, and I like kind of just the feeling. Like imagine being a barber and you have somebody that comes in, he's like, you know what I'm saying? Like this dude need a cut. You know what I'm saying? And then after the cut, he looks in the mirror and it's like, yo, I feel great. Like that type thing. So it's like, imagine like someone sending you like an art piece, like something that's so valuable to them. Like, yo, I just spent hours and hours. It's like, bro, please do me justice. They give it to me. Then they hear it back. They're like, bro, this is amazing. Like just the feel of that is great. Like it's understanding like you're able to help people and kind of just bring their vision to life. You know what I'm saying? In a very, very like quality way, you know, because some people, you know, they could just get away with like doing no quality and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's just the feel. I love helping people, man. At the end of the day, there's some people I actually don't charge for mixing. There's some people I do. Most people I do, obviously, but there's some people I just genuinely love helping them.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
And just helping them create, like being able to help them create the vision that they want. Like they probably have a certain sound or like a certain idea that they have in their head, and then you being the one that can help them facilitate that is like huge.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a lot of practice and play, because it's like a lot of engineers can be very bland. When I mean bland, it's just like they're just very basic and very simple to It's not like they're kind of afraid to do things that can hinder the song or something like that.
Mhm.
They, sometimes you just gotta go with your gut.
Yeah.
If you think it sounds dope, it sounds dope. You know what I'm saying? That and just being familiar with what sounds dope. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just do something that you think sounds dope and it's like from like 10 years ago.
Do you feel like you kind of have like your own like style when you mix, or is it
Style.
just completely based on the song?
So I do have a certain style. It's just it's very particular, very particular. It's not something that's like an artist like they do ad libs or something like that. It's different every song. You know what I'm saying? It's more on the fact of like I do things a certain way that makes the song more of a depth. So meaning like it could be like delays here and there or reverb thrown here and stuff like that. It's like very detailed things that make the song more bigger, more fuller.
Yeah.
A lot of people do that, but not a lot of people like kind of just flourish in that. They kind of do other things. But do a lot of engineers do stand out because they use like analog gear too. That gives a certain sound, but that's cool. But I just feel like at the end of the day, like it's gonna be what the artist likes and stuff like that. At the end of the day, we're trying to make the artist happy. So
Yeah.
regardless. But yeah, just like little details like that, that's probably gonna be more of my style. That and just making things sound kind of the most creative and full that it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the artists that you've like, I mean, before we started interviewing you, I was just reading through your website and all your different work that you've worked on. Who's your favorite artist to work with currently? Or like who of the people you've worked with have you just like had a really good time working with and like just made some really dope stuff with?
Man, I'm gonna say off the bat, I'm gonna say John Keith. John Keith. There's no one that I know personally. I've met a lot of people. No one that makes quality and very quickly music. Like this man can write like 3 songs or 5 songs a day if he wanted to. Like
Wow.
it would be solid records. This man sends me demos like 15 demos a week, almost like 10, 15 demos or something sometimes.
Yeah.
Him, I'd say Aaron Cole. I'd say What Up RG. Dill. I don't really get in the studio with Dill or anything, but just working with like RG and Aaron, just understanding how they work and stuff like that. I haven't really recorded them. Not everyone like lets engineers record them unless like I don't know, you're like I don't know, Drake or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everyone normally records themselves anyways.
Yeah.
But sometimes you could be in this session just chilling with them and just kind of come up with ideas and stuff like that. It's kind of interesting. But I also worked with people outside like the Christian space. I'm pretty sure you've seen I've worked with like Smokepurpp and
Yeah, I saw you said Smokepurpp and like
and
Tyla Yaweh.
Yaweh. Yeah, so I worked with them on their early upbringings. So like Smokepurpp, I actually worked with Smokepurpp the same week they announced him as Cactus Jack. Like he was part
Oh.
of Cactus Jack.
Yeah.
And so he was in town in Florida. So at the studio I was working at, he did a show. It's a wild story.
Okay.
He pulled up to the studio. Well, first of all, his people pulled up first. So at first, when they gave me the call to do a session for him, they told me Lil Pump was gonna be there. So I was like, okay, I'm about to do a session for Lil Pump. So I'm like, okay, like this man just dropped that Gucci Gang. So I'm just like, all right, cool. I'm about to just bank off his credit. You know what I'm saying? And then they were like, nah, it's gonna be Smokepurpp. And I was like, who's Smokepurpp? Like, I didn't know who he was.
This was when, like 2018?
17-ish?
2017. So he had just dropped that song, Fingers Blue.
Okay, yeah.
Fingers Blue with Travis. And so like literally just dropped that song. And so I was like, okay, cool. I was trying to figure out who it was and how he's gonna be, because I've never worked with somebody like that. Like, because sometimes, like, you know what I mean, the internet portrays that they're like arrogant, you know, they're like just don't care about life and whatever.
Right.
They just
Yeah.
kind of just like, you know, they do them.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I was there. The session was a late session, anyways. It was from like I got there at 10 at night. His people got there at 11. he didn't get there until 1:30 in the morning.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so his manager and his people were just chilling there the whole time. We were just all just chilling. His like DJ was just making beats and stuff. And they were like, yeah, just run the clock. We're waiting on him, stuff like that. And then they just told us like 30 minutes before, they were like, yo, my fault. He's taking so long. He's getting a haircut. I'm like, who gets a haircut at 1:30 in the morning?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, he went to go to some celebrity barber or something like that to get a cut at 1 in the morning. So I'm like, okay, cool. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of a weird scenario because I'm not really like the guy that records, but they needed somebody. So, for this like type of arrangement, they had like, I guess like fans, like some like, I guess fangirls, like type of like, I don't know how to say groupies.
Yeah,
like I would say that. They were on tour with Post Malone at the time. So they were on tour with Post Malone. So they had just stopped to go to Florida to do this show. It's like a festival. And so they had random girls pull up to the studio. And I was like, y'all waiting for someone? They're like, yeah, we're waiting for Smokepurpp. And I was just like, what? I was so confused. Like, why are they here? Like, you know what I'm saying? And then I told the manager, I was like, yo, I think some girls outside waiting for you all. And he was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, they ain't pretty though, so we're not letting them in or something like that. I was just like, all right. I was just like, all right. So he gets there at 1:30 in the morning. Cool dude. He's a very cool dude. Definitely wasn't on some like, yo, F this, F that, like bougie type thing. He was cool.
Like he seems a nice guy.
Yeah, he was a very, very nice guy. Because some studios, they don't have like runners and stuff like that. Like the higher end studios do. So like if the artist needs something, then they go get something for them.
So at yours there was, or they don't have that?
There wasn't. It was like a lower end, like a mid-tier studio. It's not like a huge like $1 million studio or something like that. Yeah. So he asked me, he was like, hey, do y'all have Gatorade or something like that? I was like, man, we only got water and like soda or something. And he was like, dang. He's like, y'all got a runner that they can go get me some? And he was like, bro, I need like I think he said like a lime Gatorade. That's what I need. Like a specific.
I don't even think they have lime Gatorade.
something. I don't know what he said. It's something like that. And I was like, man, we don't have a runner. He's like, oh, no, that's good, bro. Appreciate you. Like, he's like being nice, hella nice. And then the man asked me like 30 minutes later, he's like, hey, bro, you know anybody that sells Percocets? I'm like, nah, I'm pretty sure I don't.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, okay, cool. So we did like an 8-hour session. So I didn't leave until like 9 in the morning.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. Like,
I respect the hustle.
Yeah. But like the thing I've never really understood, and maybe you could help me like get this. I don't get why like the music industry seems so nocturnal. You know what I mean? Like, is it just something about like, because in movies and even just like a lot of people we've talked to are like, yeah, you know, recorded like, that at like 4 a.m.
No sleep. Yeah.
And is that just like the culture?
Man, to be honest, to give you like a real answer, the main reason is because you don't have people posting on Instagram, Twitter, texting you, calling you at 4 in the morning. So like your mind is more awake because it's like, you didn't see a tweet, you didn't see an Instagram post, you didn't see a DM, you know what I'm saying? Like, so like at 4 in the morning, no one's bothering you. So all your thoughts are everywhere. So like, you probably most alive at the time, you know, something like that. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like I be helping out with homies with like A&R directions, with stuff like that, or creative like things for rollouts. If I call you at 3 in the morning, just know it's about to be a fire idea. Like, like that's just like when I get inspired. Like it'd be randomly at 3 or 4 in the morning, and I'll get something. But yeah, that's how they all play out. You know what I'm saying? Like all my homies. I think the older you get it kind of just goes back down like to a regular like 9 to 5-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, because all of us like, yo, when I be with like What Up RG, like. I'll be with him until like 9 in the morning. We're just working on music. I'm like, yo, like, this is outrageous. For me, like average, I go to sleep like until like 5 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? That's like average for me. But that's just how we're built. I don't know how. Like, I don't know why, but some people actually work during the day too.
Yeah. So did you wake up early for this interview?
Nah. So, yeah. I mean, I technically woke up like probably like an hour and a half ago.
So you worked with Smokepurpp, and then also I wanted to talk to you about Tyla Yaweh, because he's probably like the next biggest name, or he might even be nowadays more people.
He's bigger in Smokepurpp for sure right now.
Yeah. So what was it like working with him?
Man, I worked with him. This is before him and Post Malone got really cool.
Okay.
He might have just met Post Malone, but I just remember him like they needed somebody to. I didn't know who he was. It was crazy because the studio I worked at, they have like houses, like rooms there. So like he actually used to live there. He actually like he was broke and he used to live there
at the studio that you worked at.
Yeah. So which is outrageous, right? So he needed a place to work out, and he was in town. So he was cool with the owner already. So the owner was like, "Yeah, come through, blah blah blah." So he came through. I did a session for him. It was like a 4-hour session, 4 or 5 hour. But the man was like off of like I don't know what, but he was just like I don't know, I don't know how to explain it. Like he didn't show any feel. Like it's kind of like he needed things done at a certain pace. So this one challenged me though. But he's like, yo, download all these beats. So he gave me all these beats to download. There's like 6 or 7 beats. This man, he was like, yo, load up the session. And he's like already in the booth. And I'm like trying to find the BPM and the key of the songs. And I'm like, this is my first time working with him. So I'm trying to understand if he needs auto-tune. Like I ain't never heard his music. So
yeah.
And he's like, yeah, bro, I need auto-tune. So boom, I'll give him auto-tune. He records like a whole song. He's like, yo, cut it here, cut it there, and then keep going. So he keeps going, finishes it. He's like, let me add some ad-libs. Let me add some backgrounds. He's like, all right, we're done with that. Pull up this beat. And then by the time I'm pulling it up, I'm playing it for him. But he's like, hey, bro, I don't got no tune. I don't got no tune. Like, but he's like kind of like, he's trying to, how to say it? I've worked with like people like him before. He's just the type of person that he's trying to get the idea. Like he's in a creative flow. So he's trying to find something that it's like a flow. So if he loses that flow, it's kind of like it breaks his creative.
It ruins the moment.
Yeah, so for him, he was like, yo, I need you to be quicker.
Like kind of pushy, like aggressive?
Yeah, he was like that. He was like, yo, I need you to be quicker. He's like, please be quicker. And so like for me, like, bro, finding a key, finding a BPM, like I was doing this in like 15 seconds, but for him, he wanted it quicker. So I'm just like, bro.
Like, bro, I can't go any quicker.
I'm like, bro. And I'm like doing this whole session with him and stuff like that. And he was like, I think he made a smart comment because I actually do everything in Logic. Okay. I don't do things in Pro Tools. People always ask me all the time if I do in Pro Tools, but he was like, yo, you should probably do in Pro Tools. You'd probably be faster, blah, blah. He was trying to tell me, right? And then this man was like, I don't know, bro. Something was off about him. He was definitely on drugs. He was definitely on drugs. And he like tried to FaceTime, I think, French Montana or something like that, and whatever. And I guess he didn't answer something because he was trying to get him like an idea or something. But that session was like a 4-hour, 5-hour session. He recorded like 7 songs, like just full ideas and like lyrics and everything, whatever, such and such. And he wanted to extend the session. And it was like 4 a.m. already. I was like, bro, I'm trying to go home.
Like, yeah, nah, I'm good.
Like, I was like, I'm good, bro. I'm trying to go home. Like,
it like, so overall, was it like a good experience, or like was that not the type of work style that you like?
I mean, I don't like recording. Like, I like recording with people that I actually work with.
Yeah.
But recording like anybody and anybody, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not that fire. Like, it's just not a vibe. It's not a vibe. It's like, imagine randomly meet someone and then you have to like deal with them for 5 hours. You know what I mean? You have to cater to them and make them happy. Stuff like that. Like, that's great, but like, I can't do it too long. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so like for the whole experience, I just felt like it made me quicker. Understand that, you know what I mean? like to be as quick. Cause I got quicker, like very, very quick at like recording. I could record takes quick and stuff like that, like cut quick and like, punch in and everything, like things like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Was that your first experience kind of where you I don't know, was that your first experience in your career where you were working with kind of like a big name artist who was like,
mhm.
I don't
Kind of
know,
being aggressive, like
not like that he was like a total dick, but like was that the first time where it was someone that like kind of really challenged you in the studio and like kind of forced you to like adapt on the fly? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think he would be one of the first people.
And do you think
Uh,
that that was like good for you overall? Like, did you
yeah,
learn from that?
yeah. So there's two things that really challenged me while working at the studio. Period. Is that and like just working quicker, like in the session recording and stuff like that, being able to just work, and then mixing quicker. I used to mix songs like in 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours, like and it'd be the most basic songs and stuff like that. But when I started working at the studio, they were putting us on a like an hourly pay, stuff like that. So you only had a certain amount of hours to work on a song. So I was like, man, I gotta make it beneficial to myself that I have to make the song quicker, like mix it quicker. So then if I go back, I'm still getting paid for it technically because I went under the hours. And
Yeah, yeah.
so yeah, so I started learning to be quicker, learning to have like an ideal situation and know exactly how to attack things. And so it made my process quicker, way quicker. I could mix a song, like a basic song in like 30 minutes to an hour. You know what I'm
Damn.
saying?
What's your process like right now, you know, at 24, like working from home, right? Like everything you do
Yeah.
is remote.
someone sends you tracks, like what's your kind of process you go through?
Yeah.
So when people usually send me tracks, they usually send me like the track outs to the beat, track outs to the vocals. Hopefully they're all named properly because sometimes I have to figure it out. But they send a rough of or a reference of like the song, what they have. I usually listen to it one time through, kind of get the ideal feel. Cause some people like have an ideal like, oh, I want it to be more reverby or I want it to sound a certain way, stuff like that. And sometimes they'll send it without autotune, and then the reference they'll have autotune, so you have to kind of just match that. So you don't want to be that guy that sends the mix back and it has no autotune, and they're like, "Yo, bro, it needs autotune. Why you didn't put it on autotune?"
Yeah.
But my process is just going straight from it's literally as simple as this. I work on the beat first. Or I start with the melodies, and then I work with the drums. And I work the drums out. After I work the drums, I usually solo the melodies and start working on the vocals. And so when I work on the vocals, I make sure that they don't clash in each other in frequencies. And then I go back and forth soloing the drums with the vocals or soloing the melodies with the vocals. And then after that, I'm just kind of blending in any backgrounds, any harmonies or stacks or anything like that, just back and forth. And then just doing blending. But that's like all like within an hour. Like if it's like bigger sessions, probably like 2 hours.
Okay.
It's just
So
being able.
you're at the
being
point now where you can mix a song for like any one of your clients in like about an hour. Is that
Yeah. Like I would say like an hour. Ideally an hour, but I would probably do it an hour and a half because what I normally do. So like for instance, if someone sends me a project like an album, let's say you send me an album, whatever, right, to get mixed. It's like 8 songs, 10 songs, whatever. My process is I work on the song for about 40 minutes, 45 minutes, get it to about 70% there, and then switch the song. Because when I switch the song, it's a whole different feel. It's a whole different vibe. My ear doesn't get attached to it. So I switch that song and then I switch to another song. And then I revert back to that first song. And so when I go back to that first song, I understand all the small flaws that I made. So because I'm hearing it with fresh ears because I was working on 2 other songs. So it's like a line. And then I come back to the second one, back to the third one, and then that's basically my day. I usually try to do 3 songs, kind of just like like a day for like a project, and then the next day I'll do the next 3, or
Yeah.
sometimes next 2 or something like that. But that's like the process of being able to do that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you'll literally intentionally not finish mixing a song until you've like you'll go away from it and listen to something else
Yeah.
and then come back to it and do the last like 30%.
Yeah, because what you don't want to do is run into is like it being attached to it. So like a lot of people, you ever notice like people, there's like a recording engineer, a mixing engineer, and there's a mastering engineer. It's purposely like that for many reasons. You probably wondered why doesn't just one person do all that?
Yeah.
Right.
So it's a good thing that not one person does it, because I feel like it would be a longer process. Because if you, let's say you did recordings, stuff like that, you heard the recordings for like such and such hours already. Then you have to go into mix it. You already heard everything again. So you're getting comfortable in the mixing. So then you have to master it. So like it's like you don't understand the flaws, like the minor detail flaws. So in the process, if your recording engineer sends it to a mixing engineer, they hear the small minor flaws that the recording engineer didn't hear in the recordings, stuff like that.
Right.
Then when he mixes a song, gets it there to 100%, then he sends it to the mastering engineer. Mastering engineer is fixing the small flaws and balancing everything out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a process, but it's quicker like that. It's quicker and it's more efficient because you have different people hearing it for the first time. And that first listen is always crucial, because you ever hear a song and you just have like a first impression, like it just hits you. You're like, yo, I noticed this, I noticed that, stuff like that. Like it's so much. But then when you listen to a song over a year, you understand there's something that you missed out.
Yeah.
Like imagine re-listening to a same song like that and you missed out something, but somebody else noticed it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, Matt and I were literally talking either on the last episode we did or maybe 2 episodes ago. We were talking about how like we vividly remember where we listened to like a song for the first time.
Like a lot of our favorite
for a lot
songs.
of our songs. Like I vividly remember the first time sitting and listening through it. And like, I don't know, I feel like what you're saying is kind of just like proofreading it, but like for a song, because if you like wrote something and you just read it over and over and over,
You become like numb to it.
yeah, you probably don't pick up on like
Ear
the little
fatigue
things you
and
messed
stuff like
up.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. You get very comfortable, like, and that's the part that you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
Do you take breaks when you're mixing, or do you like just try to not go for like 4 hours in a row?
So I do take breaks. So here's the thing about engineering. You take breaks based on like, 1, how you just feel. 2, it's like how your ears, you got to make sure your ears are okay. You can't overdo things all the time. You could limit yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, doing 3 songs a day, that's my limit. Just knowing your kind of like your limit. So that, and just taking breaks, like you could take breaks. Like, I mean, as long as you meet people's deadlines, you could take as many breaks. You could take a 20-hour break as long as you meet that person's deadline.
That's the beauty of working for yourself. You know?
That's the honesty. Like, as long as you meet deadlines, you shouldn't have a problem taking a break. Sometimes one day I'll just take 1 day break. You know what I'm saying? Just not doing nothing.
Yeah.
That's just a beauty of it. Like, I could just do that. And also like, there's other things that come into play. So like sometimes your monitors give like certain like ear fatigue sometimes. And so you sometimes you can't be listening to certain monitors for a very long time, because that can really affect your hearing over time.
In what way? What do you mean exactly?
So like it has to do with the high end. High end on monitors, like the tweeters. And so like lower end stuff, like things that like probably like Yamahas and like Genelecs or KRKs. I don't know if you know those brands, but those have great clarity, but it's like it can cause ear fatigue because it has so much saturation in the actual like high end that over time your ears can get very, very like harsh, like it hurts.
All right, so your
like
ears
that.
can literally get like damaged from it, or is it just that you like become
over time? Yeah, over time that could happen. Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's not something that can happen like, oh, next week. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Don't use
But-
Yamahas.
but yeah. So you know what I'm saying? Like it's not. That's why you go to those bigger studios. They don't have speakers probably you never seen, but those
Right.
speakers those monitors probably cost like $4,000 each. You know what I'm saying? But they have like those features that protect you from high end stuff like that, like cheap quality. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's still crystal clear, like super crystal clear.
Yeah.
And so that's like another thing. Headphones. This is a lot of things. And playing it at loud volumes, stuff like that. Learning to mix at low volumes. Like there's a lot of things that factor into it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I wanted to ask you, so when you were done with college, you said you were working in Florida at this studio.
Yeah.
How did you I don't know, because there's definitely a lot of our listeners are people that make music themselves. And I was just curious, like, how did you get that job working at a studio? Did you just literally just apply and send them your all the stuff you worked on, or?
Yeah, so I was already mixing at the time. So they were looking for a recording engineer. They were looking for a recording engineer, but then so I had a friend, it's all relationships. I had a friend that he was working there as an engineer. He would record some people and he would produce there. And I hit him up and I was like, yo, because like before I quit school or stopped going to school, I had visited because he told me to swing by and stuff like that. So I played him some mixes with one of my friends that I was working with music in. And we played him some stuff, and the head engineer was like, yo, this sounds crazy, blah, blah. Like he was telling me, he was complimenting a lot and stuff like that. He was like, yo, if you ever want to work, let me know. So like months later, that's when I hit my boy up. It's like, yo, do y'all have any openings and stuff like that? Cause I ain't telling my situation, but it was just like, it could have been perfect. So it was perfect.
Yeah.
And I talked to the owner. The owner was a cool dude. He's a very informational dude. He knew so much about things. And he was just like, yeah, bro, let me listen to some stuff that you've done. What do you know? At first, it was risky for them because they didn't know how I was going to be because I only did Logic. They were looking for people that were doing Pro Tools.
Oh, and they were cool with you sticking, they let you stick with Logic.
Yeah, so eventually, it just they were gonna try to teach me Pro Tools because I know basic Pro Tools, but I'm not fast.
Yeah,
that's the thing. So they wanted to teach me all that, but it's kind of they knew I was comfortable with Logic and I was efficient and I was good, and so they kind of worked around me when it came to that, which is great because I could have been in a very uncomfortable situation for a year or something, and learning Pro Tools and stuff like that. It's a different ballgame.
You're like, I could either spend the next 6 months trying to learn Pro Tools and not being good, or I can stick with what I know and just be good right off the bat.
Yeah, for sure. So that's how I got the job. It's just kind of just building that relationship and talking to them, not coming in trying to be a badass or something. Just kind of level out with people, just kind of be like, hey, I need a job. But you know what I'm saying? It's kind of a little difficult for studios too, because becoming a recording engineer, usually most of the time they want you to have, it's like a clientele basically, because it's it's kind of weird to walk in and it's they give you the clients. You know what I'm saying? They hired you and they give you clients, but you didn't draw any clients in it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird when that happens. So my case, the scenario was kind of different.
Yeah. But so you're saying usually they want people who already have clients so that when they hire them, those clients are coming to their studio.
Driving business. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
Because what it is it's like being a barber. I compare my lifestyle a lot to a barber. So being a barber, you working at a shop, you know what I'm saying? You get all these walk-ins, but they kind of prefer you to have people that you have a clientele. So, you know what I'm saying? So you can pay the rent, basically. I mean, I didn't pay rent, but I'm just saying, in that scenario, they probably just want somebody that's guaranteed, that has things going on for them. So,
yeah. That's sweet, man. I just feel like as a, young person trying to get into music, working at an actual studio is probably a really good opportunity for people to try and meet different artists and like connect with
Build
people other than
relationships,
just on social media or something.
Yeah, it's definitely a different experience when you meet people in person.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For what you do, is it like if it wasn't COVID, would you still be doing most of your stuff remotely and like living in Houston, or is this kind of like just a
Yeah.
product of COVID? Like normally would you prefer to be doing things in person and like going to in-person sessions with like a bunch of different artists or what?
Yeah, so if COVID didn't happen, one, I'd probably be on tour, just DJing. I mix on the go, so I can mix. Like it doesn't have to be in a treated room. I can mix in my headphones. Um, yeah, so like I would probably be doing more recording and with people. Yeah, that's probably what happened. And then I would. I've been planning for like a year to move to Atlanta, and so I would move to Atlanta already, and kind of just probably link up with people and work with them in person. Like I said, it's a whole different experience when you meet and hang out with someone in person, and they just mess with your vibe and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Versus like social media and being on FaceTime, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you already have like connections and like people in Atlanta that,
Yeah. I got a few that I think I can link up and make work and stuff like that. And
That's where
I can
RG
draw more
is,
work.
right?
Yeah, he stay on the north side of Atlanta. There's a lot of people that
Gotcha.
live in Atlanta. It's like Few, Wande, and like there's a lot of people, Michael, and there's so many people in Atlanta. Everything's there.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's people that live in Atlanta, a lot of people there, and then Nashville. So Nashville's
Mhm.
like 3 hours away. So it's like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean, either way, you're gonna get work.
Yeah, for
in
sure.
those areas.
Yeah,
So.
for sure.
So like, obviously you were on tour before COVID. What's like the dream for you? Do you want to go on tour again? And, in like 10 years, what do you want to be doing? And like,
Man,
where do you hope to be?
Man, I can't give too much because I've been working on something
Okay.
that I kind of just been planning and stuff like that and working on. But in the next years, I kind of just want to build something that I can help my friends. One, just have a place to work, and two, kind of just have facilities to just do things. So like I just kind of want to just build things like that. Being able to help people, you know what I'm saying, especially younger people. Kind of just start out, you know what I'm saying, like build an internship and stuff like that. Might build a studio or something, you know what I mean? Do something like that, probably like in Atlanta or Houston, either one.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Doing something like that. I don't mind touring, stuff like that. Like I love traveling. I'm built for the lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? I love it. It's just if it's in my path, I'm gonna do it probably because I'm not gonna lie, I'm a hustler. So I regardless if money's there, I'm gonna go and do it. And if it takes me time, then yeah, I'm gonna do it or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I love it. It's a different part. It's definitely something that takes me out of the element of just being stuck in a room and working with somebody.
Yeah.
So we still be doing shows though now. Like during this whole pandemic, we still did a few shows. And they're coming back like in July for us and stuff like that. So
so you're gonna continue the same tour that you were on in July?
So I don't know if the tour is gonna continue because it had like 10 dates left.
Okay.
So it says it's gonna return in October, but I don't know like fully 100%. That and then it's just like one-off dates like festivals and just like different bookings, like people booked and stuff like that. Like we just did a show like last week or 2 weeks ago, Mississippi. We did a show for a Chick-fil-A corporation event. Stuff like
That's
that.
dope.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's kind of cool and stuff like that. Yeah, we're just out there for like 2 days. We did 2 shows for the Dude's Church and then for the Chick-fil-A corporation. So yeah, so we get like little gigs. It's like smaller versus that tour. That tour was an arena tour, so like those joints are different. You're going in front of like 6,000-7,000, sometimes 10,000 people.
Damn.
So it's like that's how it would.
Where were some of the shows? Like what were some of the cities that you were at?
I actually did one in Seattle.
Hell
okay.
yeah! What venue? You know?
Nah, but I could look it up.
What was the tour? Sorry.
It was called the Hits Deep Tour with Toby Mac.
Yeah.
And so we did a bunch of cities. We did kind of, let's see, Charlotte. We did Oklahoma City. I'm trying to think where else. We did Sacramento. We did LA. We did Seattle.
Where in LA what was the?
Where was it?
Yeah, do you know?
Oh, we
Or
did
no?
the Forum.
Oh, okay.
that's dope.
Wow.
Yeah, we did the Forum, and we did Portland. We did Salt Lake City. We did, it's like New Mexico or something like that.
Yeah. What's it like being a DJ on tour? Like what? I don't even know anything about that. Like what's your day-to-day like as a DJ on tour?
It's different. Yo, first of all, I think the place was called Showware.
Oh yeah,
Showware?
Yeah, Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what we did it. I don't know.
That's where the hockey team plays.
It's what?
That's where not the new hockey team coming in, but that's like the one in Kent.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's a nice one.
we did a show there. We sold out there.
That's
Wow.
dope. That's
Yeah.
where I saw
Yeah.
Joey, Badass, and Logic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
sweet.
crazy. Yeah. But the day-to-day thing, it's a routine. It's just the same thing. It's weird, but same thing, but it's just a different city. Like
Yeah.
different city, different state. It's just like you wake up. So I helped out with merch. So I woke up, did the merch, ate afterwards, chilled, and then I trained volunteers for merch, and then just kind of chilled, got ready for the show, and then just went up on stage afterwards and then eat, and then go back to the bus and sleep, and then just wake up and do the same thing.
Yeah.
I was literally every day. Same thing, same time, everything. Like everything was very precise.
Yeah.
Off days, you're normally just on the hotel or you just walk down the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like to a mall or something, or go eat
Yeah.
somewhere.
Being on
so-
stage as a DJ, did that ever give you the itch to like, because you said but way back in the day you made music that no one's ever going to hear. Did it ever kind of make you be like, damn, this is kind of hype. I want to make my own music again?
Man, to be honest, I'm just not built for, like, I just like, here's the thing. It takes a lot to know this, but I think after a long time, because it's been like 4 years, 3 years and stuff like that. So like just after a long time of like doing it, and then probably just sitting in the studio with people and understanding like things and watching people on stage and kind of just getting familiar with people and understanding, it's just like, it's a lot of heartache as it being an artist. You go through so much. And so
In
like,
what sense? Like what
it's
to
like-
you, what does it seem like is just the heartache?
I think the heartache is like just, man, trying to make people happy, like your fans, or trying to achieve things for them and stuff like that. So it's like you live a lifestyle where you just kind of just trying to make sure that you keep people happy. You know what I'm saying? Which is cool, but I just feel like it kind of eventually defeats the purpose of making music. Like it's just doing it for fun and stuff like that. Like doing it because it expresses you and stuff like that. That, and then I just know there's other things in lifestyle. As an artist, like the look, like the aesthetic look, and just standing out, stuff like that. So like for me, I was just like, man, if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do something that no one else is doing, like kind of crazy. So I'm just trying to push the whole engineering route. And if the DJing thing, happens, kind of just push it to the light more and stuff like that. Because there's people that do it, and it's like more like they're in the pop culture of things. So like there's people like Alex Toomey, people like Jason Joshua, you know what I'm saying? They're like cool people, like in the light, but you wouldn't think they're engineers. You know what I'm saying? They're not like old heads, like I'm not gonna name any names, but they're just like old heads is like, oh yeah, they're an engineer, and you know what I mean? They're just not cultured or something, you know what I mean? Like they're not somebody they look like they do music. They just look like they just own a business.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what they look like. Yeah, so like, you know what I mean? I want to be that guy. That's just kind of different and stuff like that. So that's why I ran with that instead of just I don't think about like me want to be an artist and stuff like that. I do think about like kind of just helping people with the music and the creative process though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you
That's
like
for
the
sure.
whole Twitch thing a lot of the guys are doing? I think Alex Toomey does that too. Like, he'll
Yeah,
go stream and mix.
I think it's dope. But I feel like they still don't do what they do 100% in the session. Like they just come up with a formula that they probably repeat. I have never watched one, but they probably do repeat the same thing, because they have so many people watching them. So what they do is, you know what I mean, people just go and steal exactly what it is, but it's not gonna work for every song. You know what I'm saying? Like the exact same settings and everything, it's not gonna work.
So you're kind of saying you think that when they're streaming them, like mixing or producing or whatever they're doing on stream, you don't think they actually do it to like how they would do it for a client?
Yeah, and it's not gonna be 100%. It's not gonna be 100%. It could be very close. It could be 70% there, but it's not gonna be 100%.
And you think they do that on purpose, just so that like? Why do they do that?
They do that on purpose for many reasons. So the main reason, one, I don't know how Alex Tumey's been doing it for, but if you use it let's say for my sake, I've been doing it for 8+ years. I'm not about to give some kid some sauce for overnight type of sauce, and that took me 8 years to get to where I am. You know what I'm saying? So like if Alex Tumey's been doing it for 15 years or 12 years, whatever, he's not about to give somebody his secret gems and stuff like that. Like he's not. No one is like that. Nothing in life is free like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like no matter how much you pay for something, like you're not gonna get 100% what they're giving you and stuff like that. Because there's things that people like do. You know what I'm saying? That one, the people that just starting probably can't comprehend or understand.
Yeah.
Or people that just came out of college can understand, but it's like they're just using the same formula and it's not gonna work for every song.
Yeah. And like maybe for entertainment's sake as well. Like if they were to, you know, if they're trying to do a stream, they're trying to at least make it somewhat entertaining.
Yeah, I'm
and
sure
like,
there's definitely that.
There's probably,
aspect.
like you said, a lot of what they do, a lot of their viewers probably have no idea what any of that means.
Yeah.
So like, yeah.
They're just trying to find something that works. You know what I'm saying? That's just how those things work. Because I've seen people kind of like mimic his stuff, which is cool. But how do I say it? Like at the end of the day, kind of like you making your own thing and understanding what you could do is like your own superpower. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you could do the same thing he did, but a different way, you have a superpower. You know what I'm saying? But because if you're just using his thing and tweaking, you know, it's kind of like, it's not the same. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like people probably think of it like as like what are they called for pictures? Like filters or something. And you just edit the filters and then make it the way you like it. It's different. It's
like a preset or something.
Yeah, it's a preset. There you go, preset. It's like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a whole different ballgame because audio, like you change something slightly louder than what it is, you gotta change your attack at release times and it just changes everything. Like slightly louder, slightly lower changes everything. So you have to change the whole song. So it's just weird. But people don't know that.
Yeah,
so.
I didn't know that. I just assumed when they stream, I'm like, oh yeah, he's just, you know, he's doing what he normally does.
Yeah. What he's probably getting paid to do it too. So it's like
it's a win-win.
He has to overachieve in some way.
Right.
It's really, Matt was actually talking to me the other day about how a lot of like engineers, like basically what you were saying, how not many of them are, you know, big personalities in like pop culture. A lot of them are kind of behind the scenes guys.
Yeah.
And we were talking to, I don't know if you know 1995, but
Anthony Cruz.
Yeah. We were talking to him and he was saying like, he doesn't ever want to be that guy that people know. He's like, I'd prefer to just be a guy that has my clients, has my friends, has the people I work with. I make a living, but he's like, I don't want that at all.
Yeah.
I don't know.
When I meant like being like more in the light, I'm just not meaning like having the spotlight on me. It's like probably more on the sense of just kind of just making sure that engineers get credited.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like people getting noticed for their names is, you know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, that's going to build something for them. Because, you know, a lot of times people tag photographers, tag producers, but they don't tag engineers, stuff like that. It's just making sure like of that, you know what I mean? And just building a stamp, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, like either if it was me or 1995, like if you see the name, it's like a stamp of quality, you know what I'm saying? You got to build a brand at the end of the day. But yeah, I feel him on that though too.
Yeah, I don't know if you know, I mean, do you know Kevin Hackett?
Yeah.
So
cool
he's actually the one who messaged us and recommended us to to talk to you in the first place.
Oh, word.
But did you see like a few months ago, maybe 6 or 8 months ago, he did like this proposal thing for Spotify where
to start crediting designers for like album covers and stuff like that.
I seen that.
And we kind of talked about with him. Sorry, I don't know if this is where you're going.
Yeah, that's where I was going.
Like, if they're gonna do that for designers, like they should also, like, why not add producer pages? Why not add like engineer pages where it's like someone can click on Mixed by AC and then they have everything you like, your whole discography of everything you've ever mixed.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. That would be really crazy.
It'd be super cool. Like any song, if you hear a new song, you can click on the song. Like obviously it'll just say the song and then the artist, but if then you could click on that and like get more details.
Yeah.
And it shows every single person who's a part of that song.
There is credits, I think, on Spotify. I use Apple Music, but like I'm pretty sure you can see the credits. But like that'd just be so much doper if you could click on the name and it would take you to like a page.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that would be fire. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, it'd be like its own social media almost.
Yeah.
I actually see that happening though.
I bet you it will.
Yeah,
at
course.
some point.
It would happen.
If you were a young kid trying to get into mixing right now, what kind of advice would you give? Like, and where would you send someone to like really learn? Would you send someone like, is there a certain place like, I don't know, online that you feel like you can learn a lot from? Would you just recommend like getting as much experience with people like we kind of talked about? Or what would you recommend to someone starting out?
Man, I would just kind of recommend before you kind of look into a school, kind of just like, or anything or online, just look everywhere online. We have everything on our phones, on our computers. We have the whole internet. You know what I'm saying? Information's there. It's just sometimes it's broken down not as well as you want it to be and stuff like that. I would just say like, do that, do research, understand things, understand what does a compressor do, what does like an EQ does, and what frequencies sit at things. Like just understand those things, because at the end of the day, you can understand those things, but you have to train your ears too, like to understand where things sit, stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, you could look at what you're looking at, but if it doesn't sound fire, like what you're looking at can look right, but at the end of the day, the first thing you probably want to listen to is like if it sounds right.
Yeah.
So it's just probably just looking everywhere first for information, and finding a mentor, finding why. It's kind of like being an artist. Like if you're an artist, you know what I'm saying? Like if you want to be the best artist in the world, like study the best artists in the world.
Yeah.
So if you want to be the best engineer, you got to study the best engineers. Understand why they who they are. They're not just who they are because of the names. It's because they do good work.
Yeah.
So you got to understand what makes them them, and kind of just break it down. Because if you don't know that, it's kind of like you want to skip so many steps and not understand what brought them there or what got them there and stuff like that. That's basically it. I mean, that's all I could really say.
Yeah,
definitely.
Who were like your mentors or people that you really looked up to when you were trying to learn and get better?
Yeah. So growing up, I had a friend of mine. It was like one of my friends' people that he went to just record. So I would just ask him questions. He went to engineering school. I was like 16, 17 at the time. He was one that I asked questions to, just very basic questions. And then when I moved to Florida, after like leaving school and stuff, I met one of my closest friends. His name is Aramis. He actually does all the mastering for me now. So ever since I met him, it's kind of like he became my mentor, and I learned a lot from him. Just kind of just going back and forth, and kind of just having like discussions about engineering, because we'll listen to like projects and stuff like that, or listen to certain songs, send each other songs and stuff like that, and we'll kind of just point out characteristics and things like that. It's kind of weird, but yeah, we just do that. You know what I'm saying? But that's just like us. You know what I'm saying? Like we just try to figure out a way. What's the next step? How are we getting better? It's just growing. So like him, I recently started chopping it up probably like a year or so with his name is Jacob Biz Morris. He does like Lecrae stuff. All those guys at Reach. So recently I've got really close with him. So I've been just going back and forth with him, learning from him. Like very small things, but it's just, just picking up things. And building a relationship with him because he definitely does this full time and he's on a different bracket.
Yeah, didn't he work on the Bieber EP?
Yeah, he actually called me the day before. He was like, yo, no, the day of, the morning, because we were talking about something. He was like, yo, I don't know if this is for real, but I think I got a Justin Bieber replacement.
That's so sick.
And I was like, what? I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, one of the dudes recorded something at the studio yesterday. And he's like, Justin Bieber FaceTimed him. And I was like, bro, what? And he was just like, yeah, it's supposed to be coming out today. It was like Easter Sunday, last Sunday. I was like, bro, there's no way. It's supposed to come out today. He's like, yeah, bro, they did it all last minute. And he was like, bro, Josh Goodwin opened my files and everything, which is, to me, Josh Goodwin is like so crazy to me because he does all of Justin's stuff. And I just found out something that recently that I do something in mixing that he does. So I'm like, okay, like, that's kind of wild because I didn't learn it from him. So, so it's kind of interesting. So, about that. So we've been building a relationship and just learning from different people. You know what I'm saying? Like I've picked up little things. So like a lot of it, when I worked at that studio, I built a lot of little experience here and there, which helped a lot. Really helped a lot.
I feel like it's really important for everyone to have a friend that I'm a video editor and I have a bunch of editing friends that I can go ask editing questions, but I feel like it's important to have that one friend where like you can ask them like dumb questions sort of. Like
you're not afraid to
you were
ask
saying
them
when you were growing up you had that one guy that
you would ask basic
you could ask
questions,
him like basic anything and he would basically break it down for you. Yeah. I feel like that's really important is having a friend that can break things down for you on like a dumb level.
You can't be scared to ask questions or else you're never gonna learn.
For sure.
And also the thing I've learned just overall in life in the past few years is like, man, don't be afraid to grow. Like every day is a new day to learn something that can better you in any level, like anything in life. So I take that as engineering. Like I can say that I made it when some people could say I made it, but to me it's like I'm just getting started and for me, it's like I have so much to grow, I feel like. And it's just, for me, for that mentality, it's just like I will grow because I'm looking for information to learn from it. So
100%.
That's awesome.
Hey, well, thanks, bro. Thanks for doing this interview. This was super problem, dope. Man. And I think that a lot of the listeners, really enjoy music and a lot of them make music themselves. So I'm sure this will be...
They're going to learn a lot. Yeah. I learned a lot.
Yeah, man. Sure. So where can the people follow you if they want to keep up to date with what you've been working on?
So everything Mixed by AC. Any handle, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. If you need some mixing, mixedbyac.com. Just email me and stuff like that. But that's where you can reach me.
Sweet. Yeah. Matt, where can they follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at @DMattMog.
And you guys can follow me at Hey Narwhal on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. You can also check out our other podcast called Peak to Middle School that's in the same studio with me and my buddy Kyle. But once again, thanks AC. And maybe we can get you on the show again in like later down the road when there's been a bunch of new music that you've worked on. Sure. And yeah, man, thanks again. This was dope.
We appreciate it.
No problem, man.
Yeah, if you guys ever have any recommendations for artists you want to see on the show, either comment or DM us at NAS Podcast on Instagram. And with that being said, we'll see you guys next Monday.
Peace.